Okay, on this machine, you have to remember that you have to calibrate the x-axis to make sure that it's at its 0 point, so it has a known start point. When it first comes on, it asks you to enter to calibrate x-axis, but you have to make sure that it is at the 0 point. If you're not sure, just press stop, press 3 for manual. Then with the key in the foot pedal position, you can step on the foot pedal, push the up button and retract it, and that makes sure that it is in the 0 position. At that point, when you push enter, X is calibrated at 0. Then you're good to go with any programming you want to do. You want to make sure you do this though before you do any programming. Otherwise, if you would have it not oriented to 0, you're going to run into trouble every time. Okay, now that we have it calibrated at the x-axis is 0, and we know it is zeroed, we want to start going to the bend programs, and the machine is programmed in inches if you go to the F6 mode. So we want to go to F6, we have to get out of the calibration, touch F6 to put it in the inch mode. Then if we want to run a program, we have to make sure we have the right program. To do that, we go 1 for programming, and it's showing us program. It's indicating number 9, and it's in the inch mode, and it's going to start on line 1. And then if we use the up and down keys, we can step through the program. This will be the second screen. It indicates program 1, and it's in the right mode, meaning that we can input a value to change it. You just have to hit enter after you input the value to get it to change, or you can hit escape to back up a value, or take away a value if you put a wrong one in. It also shows the line number, and it says QT DIFFX, and it gives a value. This indicates where it's going to stop, indicates where it's going to stop when it retracts from doing the first bend. So you can take the material out and load a new piece of material. The next screen, we'll step through this one, then the next screen will be basically a repeat, but then the second line will be a how many times that you want the program to repeat itself. If you have one bend you want to make in 1,000 parts, you can program in 1,000, and it will count down from 1,000, and you can calculate how many parts you've already bent or how many parts you have to go to complete it. And then the second value is a value of X, and this is the point at which the bend is complete. Basically, it's the travel of the ram from the point where you put the material in till it completes the bend, and it will retract. So at this point, this is the value that will complete the bend. And we want to escape from that. To operate the machine, you want to set the switch on the center position and touch the 2 for automatic. Then it shows the program. the values in the program. It tells you how many times it's going to repeat the program and what the value is for the stroke of the ram to do the bend, and this absolute X, they call it, is where the ram is located at the moment. It's not where it's going to what it'll do is go in and bend the material in one stroke from 0 and then back up to the loading position and stop. So we're going to go to the next step. The next step is pushing on the pedal. That brings it all the way forward to do the bend. Then it reverses and stops at the loading point. At this point, you can take the bent material out, put a new piece in, and all you have to do is step on the pedal, and it will repeat the bend. You just hold the pedal down through the whole process until it comes back to the start point again. This will be the third bend, so this will be the end of this process. And it indicates end. At this point, what it's waiting for is for you to either change tooling or change the process. But if you want to continue with bending the same process, you have to step on the pedal once to load the program back in. Then you have to step on it again to orient it to bend. That makes the first bend. Then you're back into cycling it. You can stop the cycle at any point by just taking your foot off of the pedal. And that's the end of that cycle of 3. When we do the bending, we're only going to need the F6 position for bending. Everything else, as far as bending goes, is either for pipe or some other process that is not going to be involved, I'm told, in what the customer's going to do. So at this point, if we want to, we can escape out of that, and that's the program we're using now. We can escape out of that, and we can go to program, and at this point we can input another number for another program, and all we have to do is push a value, any value that you need, push enter, and you're in that program. Then you can use the up and down arrow keys to check your program and make sure it's the one you want. And if it is, you can hit escape, go to automatic. There's the program. And now at this point, we should be able to hit the foot pedal, and it'll back up to the start point, and then it'll continue to do then it'll start the bend and continue the bend, and that's the new bend it made. This one has 5 cycles in the process, so we can do the 5 cycles just to clear it out. will be the last cycle, and it'll come up with end. Okay. Say the previous discussion was about using it with the foot pedals, and there's a key switch on the electrical cabinet that allows you to use the foot pedal instead of the two hands buttons here. But if you turn the key to the manual mode, then everything becomes pushing the two hands buttons to make it operate simultaneously. And the foot pedal is more of a supervisory thing, where if you're setting it up, you can use the foot pedal, but if you have one operator and you're doing one large volume of parts, you probably want it in the manual mode, so that they have to put their hands on the two buttons for safety reasons. When we make a new program, we hit program, and since program 8 is empty, we'll go program 8, enter it. That gives us a new program to write in. We can step through it with the up and down arrow keys, and with it in the pedal mode, we can then use the pedal to adjust the when we push start, we can go to the move mode, and that will let us move the RAM to a value that we want by using the down arrow key from the go from 0 to whatever position we want to start the programming at. Once we get the value we want, we push the F1 to accept that. Then we have to move back to the right portion of the programming to be able to step to the next value that we want to input. Then at this point, if we want to input by moving it, we have to hit start again, the pedal again, and the down arrow key to move it into the bend. And we can do this with the material in place, and we can bend it to the point that we want it to be bent. We can stop where we want and take our foot off the pedal, and that stops it at the value we feel we need. We can go back later and change it just by typing it in, or we can go back with the foot pedal and actually bend it again. But then to enter it, push F1. When it accepts the value, then we have to push start or stop. We have to push stop and hold it for a few seconds until it says program saved correctly. Once it says that, the values we put in now are saved as a program number 8. And to run that program, we have to go to automatic, push 2, and that shows us the program we just put in. We want to get out of there and move the manual so we can move the RAM back to the 0 position to start with. Okay, that gives X is 0 all the way back. We want to escape out of there, go to auto. There's a program we just put in. At this point, we should be able to step on the pedal and have the program. It'll come all the way forward and bend the first bend. Then it'll retract to the start position for the next bend. At this point, we didn't put any more than one cycle in, so we only got one cycle out of that program. But you could put in as many cycles as you want, up to 1,000 or so. I forget what the manual says, but it will count the parts made, or at least the cycles made for that. The programming we've been running has been in the semi-automatic mode, and what we want to do is leave it in the semi-automatic mode, because if you put it in the automatic, if you turn the switch to the automatic mode to the right, what happens is the thing, instead of going through one cycle and stopping at the end of each cycle, it just continues on. There's no stop between cycles, so it's a little unsafe, and you'd have to be pretty quick to get the material out and get the next raw material back in it.